Hello there, my name is Amanda May and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be probably a shorter video, but I really wanted to try and convey to everybody my opinion about why you should read The Name of the Wind by Patric Rothfuss, aka my favorite book. So let's get into it. My light is flickering and I don't know why. Hopefully it'll stop flickering now. I've heard a lot of people explain their reasoning for why they don't want to read The Name of the Wind or why they want to wait to read The Name of the Wind, but this video is to try and convince you to just go ahead and read it. Some of the reasons include it's too long, it's intimidating because either it's too long or just because it's adult fantasy, and Patric Rothfuss's writing style is maybe a little more intense, a little more flowery, a little more involved than your everyday fantasy book. Oh, the light is still flickering. But probably the most common reason is because the third book isn't out yet and we've been waiting for it for like a decade or something like that, and it still doesn't have a release date. And so why start the book? Why start the series at all if we're not even sure that it's going to be finished? And these are all valid reasons that I'm not mentioning here, completely valid. It's your own opinion, it's your life, do what you want. But I am here to tell you why you should go ahead and pick it up. Go ahead and read it, even though it's long, even though it's adult fantasy, even though Patric Rothfuss's writing style might not be the absolute easiest to read, and even though the third book doesn't have a release date yet, you should still read it. Here's why. So first off, let's address the fact that it's long and that it's adult fantasy. That describes a lot of books, a lot of really amazing books that have really active and dedicated fandoms. So, I mean, if you don't want to read a long book, if you're not into adult fantasy, fine. But if it interests you and if you do want to be a part of the fandom, just go ahead and read it. It's okay. It's really okay. The page count's really not that important. The fact that it's adult fantasy isn't really that important. It's a great book. It's wonderful. The fandom is great. You should just give it a shot. Just try. But if it's the writing style that intimidates you, I also say just go ahead and read it. Give it a shot. You know why? Because you're not going to get everything the first time through anyway. Rothfuss says that these books are not meant to be read just one time. You are going to miss things. There are things in the first book that you can't even understand unless you've read the second book, which means you have to go back and read the first book more than once. I guess true, you could like go on YouTube and watch a bunch of theory videos and videos that explain all of the different connections. That is an option. It's not as fun, but you could do that. And that kind of ties into why it doesn't matter that the third book isn't out yet. Because if you haven't read the first book or the second book, you're going to need that time anyway so that you can read it multiple times in order to properly prepare for when the third book finally is released. So don't fret that the third book's not out yet. In fact, enjoy that the release date hasn't been announced yet, because that means you have a good amount of time to read these really long, rather complex stories. Then, after you've read the stories, guess what? You get to be a part of the fandom. You get to join the club. It is so fun talking about different theories, different interpretations of what's in the first and second books, things that we don't have answers for. There could be multiple interpretations for. That's actually a pro for the third book not being out yet, is you get to be a part of trying to anticipate and do all the guesswork about what the third book is going to be, what's going to be in it, what answers are we going to get. How could he possibly finish this book in what's going to be probably about 1,000 pages? We already know that so much has to happen in the third book because the first book tells us some of the things that the main character is known for that hasn't happened yet. So we know those things have to happen in the third book, and a lot of us are like, how Rothfuss, how are you going to fit that all into one third book that you've already said isn't going to be insanely longer than the other books? I think he said something like the whole trilogy is going to be 1,000,000 words. I don't remember exactly. It's just, we know that the third book is not going to be insanely long compared to the other 2 books. And it's flickering again. I don't like that it's flickering. Okay, I think it stopped. So that makes it really fun, really challenging to come up with all of these theories. And the fandom actually has put out some great, crazy theories. But once the third book comes out, then we'll know the answers, and all of this theorizing won't be quite as fun because there'll be a correct answer at that point. So reading it now is way more exciting. In fact, probably one of my favorite booktubers in regards to theorizing about the Kingkiller Chronicles is Captured in Words. And I'll link their channel down below, and any other channels that I'll remember later while editing probably that I think would be really good to check out for theories. I'll link those down below as well. And here's my last reason. See, I told you this wasn't going to be a very long video. My last reason of why you shouldn't worry about the fact that the third book doesn't have a release date yet, and you should just go ahead and read books 1 and 2, is that personally, I have complete and utter faith that we are in fact getting a third book. I know a lot of people are worried that we'll never get a third book, that Rothfuss will die before we get a third book. Okay, he's not that old, guys. He's not that old, he's fine. The third book is coming, and I think a lot of people don't know that Rothfuss has a YouTube channel. He has explained why the third book is taking so long, how far he is in the progress of finishing the third book. He's open about it, he talks about it. And no, there's no release date, but he said once there is a release date, he'll be the first person to tell you. He'll shout it from the rooftops. He's not about just, quietly letting it slide by and trying to hide and not ever releasing a third. That's not what he knows how important this is to people. He wants to do a very good job. He wants to do an impeccable job like he did with the first 2 books. The first 2 books took him so long to edit, years and years to edit. So it's really not that surprising that the conclusion to this trilogy is taking him this long. I personally I believe in him. I believe that we're getting a third book. I can be patient. It's going to be worth it, guys. It's going to be so worth it. I have the utmost confidence in this man and his writing capabilities. And like I said, in the meantime, just reread his books. You gotta read them more than once. Personally, I have read each one, I think, 2 times. The light is killing me. I think personally, I've read each of the Kingkiller Chronicles books 2 times. I've read the 2 novellas, the 3 short stories. I don't know what you want to call them. I've read those once through. I don't think it's super important to read those multiple times. Maybe I'm wrong. But as far as the main storyline, I'm planning on reading it again once we have a book 3 release date. I'm gonna need to not just refresh myself on what's happened so far that I've caught already reading it through twice, but hopefully catch some more things. I'm guarantee you there are gonna be things my 3rd time going through these books that I will not have noticed, I will not have understood the 1st and 2nd read-throughs. It's insane how many Easter eggs and how many things he hides in the text, and that's really what makes this a masterpiece. This is what makes it worth reading these books over and over again. So I don't know, I feel like I've rambled on and I probably repeated myself a bunch, but I just wanted to make this video for anybody who doesn't really know if they should start the Kingkiller Chronicles or not for various reasons. I want to encourage you to pick it up. Do it. It's my favorite book. I, of course, want you to read it. Lots of people love these books, and I want you to be a part of it. I want everyone to at least give it a chance. That's it. I'll stop taking up your time. I've said my piece. I can move on. Please just consider giving it a chance. I think you're really going to enjoy it. If you've only read the books once, I think you should reread them. At least once we get a release date for the 3rd book, I think you should reread them then for sure. And I'll be doing that right alongside you. But that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, please hit subscribe. It really helps. And either way, please leave a comment down below. Have you read The Name of the Wind? What did you think about it? If you haven't read The Name of the Wind, did anything I say encourage you at all whatsoever to pick it up? I would love to know down below in the comments. And in any case, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.